We know that the Finance Minister has already been found guilty of breaking the Conflict of Interest Act. That is clear. What's not clear, maybe as clear as mud, is how many other conflicts of interest he is in. So the Finance Minister, and yes, the Finance Minister, has a choice to make. He can continue to keep Canadians in the dark, or he can reveal what assets he's owned in numbered companies over the last 2 years. Or what exactly is the Finance Minister trying to hide? And yes, we're focused on the Finance Minister.
Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, as often as the opposition focuses on personal attacks, we are going to focus on what we're doing for Canadians. That we know is important. Today, as we've said, is a particularly important day. We're talking about Budget 2017's $11.2 billion invested in housing, how that's going to make a difference for Canadians. What the Prime Minister is going to be talking about today is how 500,000 people are going to have access to housing. That's critically important. How we're going to reduce homelessness by 50% in this country. These are important goals. We know Canadians are waiting to hear. We're looking forward to telling them more this afternoon.
Honourable Opposition House Leader.
As leaders in this country, we all are called to a higher standard, and that includes being held accountable for our actions. That is not anybody picking on us or anybody picking on the Minister of Finance. It is him being accountable for his actions. And it's shameful to see him refusing to do that. Now, the Prime Minister talks about sunny ways. He talks about sunshine being the best disinfectant. Let's give the Finance Minister a chance to be accountable and reveal to Canadians, instead of keeping them in the dark, what assets he's held. Be accountable for his actions. Own up, stand up, and take some leadership.
Honourable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I am accountable, and I will continue to be accountable to Canadians. While the opposition focuses on fabrications, I will focus on being accountable for results for Canadians. What we are doing, Mr. Speaker, is we are focused on making sure the economy grows. We're focused on making sure that it helps Canadian families. Both of those two things are demonstrably having an impact. With the highest level of growth we've seen in years, significantly higher than we saw in the previous government, and, importantly, a lower level of employment that we've seen in a decade. Important goals. We're accountable for that.
Mr. Speaker, the Finance Minister keeps repeating that he disclosed all his assets since day one. Well, we're not fabricating the fact that he hid his offshore corporation for 2 years. Prime Minister says the minister has always worked since day one with the Ethics Commissioner to ensure his personal finances were in line with the expectations that Canadians have. Well, we're not fabricating the fact that he never got the Commissioner's permission to introduce C-27, a bill he and his family would profit from. Mr. Speaker, the minister still has mystery assets. Why won't he tell Canadians what's inside all of his other companies?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, this is a fabrication of an issue. That's all I can say. It is being clear on my assets was important from day one. That is what allows me to continue.
Order. I would ask the Honourable Member for Beauport, Charlevoix, to nod, and the others around the member to allow the Honourable Minister of Finance to have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, by being free of conflicts from day one, we've been focused on the things that we are working for on behalf of Canadians, and that is having a real impact. The kind of impact that Canadian families can see. They can see it with more money in their pockets because of the Canada Child Benefit. They can see it if they're a senior with the improvement of the Guaranteed Income Supplement. And what we can see is all those actions are leading to a much better economy that's helping all of our constituents and all Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Barrie Innisfil.
Well, you know what, Mr. Speaker, is not a fabrication is the erosion of trust that Canadians are having in this Finance Minister. And it's not just about what's hiding behind door number 2, door number 3, or door number 4. What about Morneau Shepell stock held by family members? How much has he and his family profited from decisions made by this Finance Minister? Since the minister was sworn in, shares in Morneau Shepell have skyrocketed by 38%. Wow. Simple question, Mr. Speaker. Do Canadians have the right to know if the minister's financial interests and that of his family conflict with his public duties? Yes or no?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, as I've reported to this House, I have no interest, nor does my family, in Morneau Shepell. What we do is we work here on this side of the House to improve the situation of Canadians. And what we can say, Mr. Speaker, is it's going well. Canadians are doing well. The economy has improved. There is more work to do. We are talking today about the work that we're going to do in housing to help 500,000 Canadians to have a key to their house or more money in their pocket to ensure that they have housing, to help make sure that we have 50% fewer people who actually don't have a place to live. This is the sort of work we're going to continue to do on behalf of Canadians.
For Chilliwack Hope.
Mr. Speaker, for 2 years, the Minister of Finance hid his Morneau Shepell shares in a numbered company, and we only found out about that because he got caught. He said he was working with the Ethics Commissioner from the beginning, but we know that's not true. He's been caught again, and he's under investigation yet again, and Canadians don't know what else he's hiding. The Prime Minister has said that sunshine is the best disinfectant. So will the Finance Minister let the sunshine in, face it with a grin, open up his books and let Canadians in on what else he's hiding?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, to repeat, 100% of my assets have been disclosed from day one to the Ethics Commissioner. Mr. Speaker, what I can say is the opposition, focusing on personal tax, does not want to focus on the last decade in which they did nothing in housing. What we're talking about today is how we're going to make a huge difference in housing. The $11.2 billion that we set in Budget 2017 is going to make a significant long-term difference for Canadians. 500,000 people with a key to their own home or money to actually pay for their lodging. This is huge. We're going to reduce homelessness in this country by 50%. Mr. Speaker, we are on the job for Canadians, and we won't be distracted.
Honourable Member for Chilliwack Hope.
Well, Mr. Speaker, at least on this side of the House, we can remember the homes that we own. For 2 years, the Finance Minister profited from his ownership in a company that made millions after he introduced legislation that benefited that same company. There was no blind trust. There was no sign-off from the Ethics Commissioner, and we only knew about his continued ownership with Morneau Shepell because he got caught, and now he's under investigation yet again. Canadians want to know what other skeletons this minister is hiding in his closet. So when will he finally come clean, reveal what else he's hiding so Canadians can see what his other conflicts of interest are?
Honourable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I do understand why the members opposite want to focus on me. They don't want to focus on what's going on for Canadians. They don't want to consider how well our economy is doing, because of course it paints a very different portrait than what happened over the last decade. What we're seeing is the work we're doing investing in Canadians, it pays off. Canadians are doing better. Families are doing better. We are seeing a huge benefit in Canadian families. More money in their pockets means our economy is doing better. We will continue to focus on improving Canadians' lives because we know, Mr. Speaker, that focusing on Canadians works.